Join the Paw Report crew as we take the program on the road for this episode. Nestled on nearly 40 acres in Brownsburg, Indiana, you'll find a unique safe haven for some special animals. Stay with us as we travel to Oinking Acres and learn more about this sanctuary rescuing and rehabilitating unwanted pot-bellied pigs and other farm animals. Stay with us.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.
At Tender Touch Grooming, we groom dogs of all sizes and breeds tenderly. Our team pampers your furry friend with care because every pet deserves a tender touch. Appointments are available via text at 217-317-9489.
The Paw Report on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, livestock feed, farm equipment, pet supplies, and more. You can find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
Dave's Decorating Center is a proud supporter of the Paw Report on WEIU. Dave's Decorating Center features the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean Carpet. Dave's Decorating Center, authorized Mohawk Color Center in Charleston.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Paw Report. As you can see, we are not in the studio for this episode. We have packed up all of our gear and our crew, and we've headed to Brownsburg, Indiana, to a beautiful farm sanctuary called Oinking Acres. And here to tell us all about this beautiful sanctuary is Olivia Head. Thank you so much for joining us and inviting us here. We've been talking off camera about all the animals here and the farm and the sanctuary, and you're going to share all that with our viewers today. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, we appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I'm going to start with probably the easiest question, Olivia, is tell us how your love of animals kind of evolved, I'm sure as a little girl and living here in Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was young and growing up, I was constantly surrounded by animals. My mom was heavily involved in dog and cat rescue, and so throughout my childhood we had several different dogs. She was constantly fostering moms and kittens, but my dad also had a couple horses, some mules. My mom had a goat, a couple chickens, and 2 pot-bellied pigs named Pixie and Penelope. And so I definitely grew up with a love for animals that I genuinely inherited from my mom. And so I don't think it was any surprise to anybody when I kind of started down this road of farm animal rescue.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the farm. We're in a big part of the farm area, the enclosure here, the barn. So how did the farm kind of start, get its name? How did it evolve? All of that.
Yeah, so I got my start in farm animal rescue and animal welfare in 2017. I adopted a pot-bellied pig from a rescue group called A Critter's Chance, and I still work with them very closely to this day, like whenever we go in on big rescues and things like that. But I started volunteering with A Critter's Chance, and then I started fostering pigs for A Critter's Chance. And the first 4 pigs that I ever fostered, I ended up keeping, so I wasn't too good at this whole like foster mom thing. But I finally got into a better groove of it. I ended up revamping their adoption program. I started handling all of the adoptions myself. I eventually joined the board of A Critter's Chance. I was the youngest board member in the history of the organization. Fast forward 2 years, it was just clear that the need was too big and fostering alone was not going to be enough. So when I was 16, I filed for my own 501c3, obtained my nonprofit status. I resigned from the board at A Critter's Chance and opened up Oinking Acres as an official nonprofit in 2019.
So Oinking Acres is close to your family history. Tell us about the well, the ground that we're actually filming here today.
Yeah, so we're here on my parents' farm. I was very fortunate to have a leg up in the farm animal rescue world because we already had a great structure as far as our barn goes. However, when we first started out, all of our exterior fencing, our exterior buildings, none of those are pretty much non-existent. So we started out in our front barn, which is just up that way. We had no light bulbs, we had hardly any running water. Everything was everything just needed a little bit of work. Our back barn, it was just an open structure. We had none of our pens or anything like that built. It kind of sits in a low spot, so anytime it would rain, it would flood back here. So we had to do quite a bit of excavating. We had to do a lot of work to get things up and ready to actually bring animals in and kind of start the operation.
So let's talk about the operation, its mission. I guess from its infant stages, when you started bringing animals in to where we are today, how many do you have? And actually, like I said, going back, the mission, the reason behind this farm.
Yeah, so our mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome pot-bellied pigs. We also provide sanctuary for other types of farm animals that are non-adoptable. And we also really focus on community education and local outreach. So we're open to the public Saturdays and Sundays for visitors. We encourage people to come out and visit the animals and make a connection with them so people can see for themselves what wonderful creatures they are and connect with our mission, connect with the animals. We really try and encourage people to lose whatever stigma or whatever, thoughts they have about farm animals. A lot of people think that pigs, for example, are gross or dirty, but they're very clean animals. They have the intelligence of a 3-year-old child. They're the 3rd smartest animal in the animal kingdom. They're highly emotional. Whenever they're happy, they wag their tails just like dogs, and when they're sad, they cry real tears. So just getting people to experience them and understand that these animals are worth fighting for. They're worth love and compassion, and they deserve the same respect that dogs and cats get too.
You said you have 150 pigs here, so I guess that begs the question, there's a need for somebody like the sanctuary because people get these animals and they may realize it's just not something that they can take care of. You
Right.
see that firsthand. Is there a problem?
Yeah, absolutely. I would go as far to say that we are at an epidemic with unwanted farm animals, but especially pot-bellied pigs. People get them and have completely unrealistic expectations of what it's like to bring one of these into your home. A lot of people don't check into their local zoning ordinance. If you live in an HOA, a neighborhood where an HOA is in place, or you live inside city limits where an ordinance is in place, 9 times out of 10, pot-bellied pigs fall into the category of swine and livestock and not companion animals like dogs and cats. And so if you don't do your research and you don't check into all of the different things, a lot of people find themselves in trouble with animal control. They get fined if they have the animal, they can't rehome them. We are one of very few farm animal sanctuaries in Indiana, let alone the Midwest, and everybody is just so full. It's hard to find these guys good homes, again, because zoning is a huge issue. People don't have realistic expectations, and they're a lifelong commitment. These guys can live to be anywhere between 15 to 20 years old, and so it's not a fun family project. It's not a gift for your kids. These are living, breathing animals that require a lot of time, care, and attention.
What kind of care? So obviously the sanctuary is something different, but somebody that is looking to maybe adopt, what could you tell that family that they, aside from you need to check all your zoning and your laws and that sort of thing, but once they get them home, what is it like to have to care for one of these animals?
Yeah, it really depends what kind of setup you have. We adopt out a lot of pigs that go back into a similar outdoor farm setting. And then we adopt out a lot of pigs that go and live inside somebody's home, just like a dog or a cat would. They're exceptionally intelligent, so it makes them very easy to train. Pigs can easily be housebroken, they can be crate trained, you can harness train them, you can take them on walks, they can learn how to go up and down stairs. And on the flip side of that, they can also just live outside too in a farm setting. We take in lots of pigs that have previously lived indoors prior to coming into the sanctuary, and so we have a whole barn dedicated to just the indoor pigs. It's very hard for pigs to transition that have lived inside into an outside setting, so we only adopt our indoor pigs back into indoor homes. And the outdoor pigs, with minimal training, you could easily train them to live inside. So they love to sleep, they love belly rubs, they love to graze. Yeah, they're just such wonderful animals.
We're going to show that as we're filming here in June. This will air later in the fall, but most of the family farm members here are all taking a snooze.
They are, yeah.
An afternoon snooze.
After breakfast, a lot of times, like, they might take a stroll around the pasture, but a lot of times they'll just come back in where it's cool and just kind of sleep. And that's really what they like to do. Is they like to graze, they like to sunbathe. They do spend a lot of time with their own little herds of pigs. So we have lots of pigs that have taken up with other pigs here at the sanctuary, and you'll see that they are very bonded to them, and they make connections that last a lifetime with their pig friends.
Will you talk about your achievements? And I think probably for you, big achievements are the adoptions, you know, that you're able to adopt these wonderful animals to other homes. Maybe it's renovations, maybe it's expansions. Let's talk about all the good things.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime we're able to accomplish a big project, like for example, we just redid our goat and pasture fencing. That was a huge accomplishment because the fencing itself was very old, run down. It just wasn't working for the goats anymore. They kept getting out, which was causing problems. So to be able to have been able to fundraise for that project and make a plan and execute it and then see the finished project, that's very fulfilling. It's very rewarding. Also the adoptions too, we take it very, very seriously because so many of these animals have come from such terrible situations. The last thing we want to do is put them back into a situation that's not the best or not ideal. And so we check box after box after box to ensure that these animals are going to fantastic homes. And I would say that we probably deny 9 out of 10 applications, mainly just because of zoning. Again, zoning is such a huge issue. And if you're not zoned, we don't even continue to process the application because it's only a matter of time before the animal is confiscated from animal control if they're in violation of a city ordinance. So to see animals that in approved homes living their best life, getting the attention that they have always deserved, that's also very fulfilling.
Sure. How many of you adopted? Since you've been, you know, the founder of this and have worked, you know, with these animals, how many over the years have you been able to adopt out?
I would say that we've probably been able to adopt several hundred pigs out. I'm not exactly sure the exact number, but I would say probably anywhere between 500 to 600 have been adopted out. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, along with the pigs, you said that there are other animals here at the farm. Tell us about the family.
Yes.
So and there's what, 40-ish acres here?
Yes.
So on the farm, when we pulled up, we did see some goats, but you have other things here as well.
We do. So our primary focus is pot-bellied pigs, but it's really hard to say no to any animal in need. And as long as we're appropriately set up and have the means to care for them, we do welcome them to the sanctuary. So we have cats, we have 2 livestock dogs, Annie and Allie. We have peacocks, peahens, we have several guineas, we have a pheasant, we have goats, sheep, ducks, chickens, we have a couple roosters, we have cows, mules, donkeys, miniature horses.
How do you learn to care for all these? Just in your background?
Yeah, a lot of it comes with just, you learn new stuff every single day. We work with Purdue Large Animal Hospital up in West Lafayette for all of our medical needs, and so we learn a lot through just taking on different cases and learning what each individual animal needs. And so, and you have to do a lot of your own research too, especially with the farm animals. Not many of them are kept as pets. A lot of them are either eaten, slaughtered, butchered, whatever. And so there's not a lot of information out there, especially with a lot of the production animals that we take in. And so you have to do a lot of your own research and just kind of try things out yourself and figure it out, because a lot of them don't live very long because that's not what they were quote unquote intended for. So.
Right. How do you've touched on it briefly, but acquiring a lot of these animals, I'm sure each animal probably has its own story, but like the big guys back here,
Yeah.
you know, how
yeah.
did you acquire maybe them, but then others as well?
Yeah, so our big pigs in particular, Theo, he was our first big pig that we took in. He was found in a ditch up in northern Indiana. Somebody had starved him, set him on fire, and dumped him in a ditch. And then our other 2 big pigs, they're called truck jumpers, and so they're taken away from their moms when they're about 3 weeks old. They're put on transport trucks and they're taken to the finishing facility where they feed them out until they reach slaughter weight, and then at that point they're shipped on to the slaughterhouse. But these little 3-week-old baby pigs were very brave. They jumped off of these transport trucks and picked up by Good Samaritans who brought them here.
It's almost like they knew.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. They are, like I said, they are so intelligent, and they all know.
They know.
They all know.
Let's go back, rewind a little bit about the adoption process again. So you said it's 9 out of 10 applications you're most likely to decline. What is that? Is it they apply online? Do you vet people? Do you visit if it's local or semi-local, I'm sure you probably go visit.
Right, so we have an application online. After the application gets filled out, it gets sent to our adoption coordinator, Tony, and we jokingly say that she could literally be like a FBI agent because she can she's just so good at her job.
She can read between the words.
Absolutely, yeah, and she can always sniff out when people are lying, or she sees the red flags immediately. So we check zoning first and foremost to make sure that checks out. Then we move on to vet references. We make sure any animals in their care are up to date on vaccines, they're spayed and neutered. We also confirm that whoever is applying to adopt, the address that they've listed, that they are the homeowners, and if they rent, we go through the landlord and make sure they have permission. We also check like I said, we check the vet references, we do personal references, and then we have like a conference call with them too. Mm-hmm. And then they come out and meet the animals, and then we usually have a pretty good idea of who is going to work best for their home based on the application and our conference call and things like that. And then if you're able to get past all of those steps, you can come and adopt your new best friend.
Do they all get about the same size? Because you have varying sizes of pigs here.
Yeah.
Are they different breeds, or?
They are different breeds, and even the pot-bellied pigs, they're just like people. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Like Blair, this pink one over there, she's a very petite gal. And then you have her, she has a friend named Briggs who is also kind of petite in stature. And then we have other pigs that are quite large and more close to like 180 pounds, and they're just built differently. They have a bigger body frame. So they're just like people. And we take in a lot of pigs that have been starved. We take in a lot of pigs that have been extremely overfed. So when you're dealing with different things like that too, that is going to factor into overall how big they're going to get. A lot of times the breeders that breed and sell these quote unquote teacup pigs, they encourage their buyers to not feed them very much so that they don't grow and they do stay small. We've taken in many pigs that were just nothing but skin and bones. And then we take in other pigs that have been extremely overfed and are literally hundreds and hundreds of pounds overweight. And so both cases are terrible for the pig. It's hard for them to recover if they've been starved. It's hard for them to gain a good amount of body weight, and then their bone structures and everything, their growth has been stunted. So it's very important that they don't get too overweight because their physical stature can only hold so much because that's how they were fed. Same with the pigs that have been overweight. We've taken in pigs that have been fed so much that they are fat blind and their fat rolls come down over their eyes and they can't even see. And then once we get them to lose the weight, they have to go to Purdue for a tummy tuck. Sometimes they have to have a facelift. So there's lots that goes into all of that. Yeah.
You know, the farm is open to the public, and we're going to talk about the opportunities for people to come here. But I think the one thing that you do want to stress is that this isn't a petting zoo, because I think when people hear farm and pigs and goats that they could come in, and that's just not the case, and it's very important that you stress that.
Right, absolutely. I always try and stress to people that the animals are not here for their entertainment or anything like that. We have only opened up to share our mission and to let people come in and experience what it's like to be around these amazing animals, in hopes that they'll tell their cousin that's thinking about going out and buying a pig, hey, that's probably not the best idea. And just trying to spread the word about what we do and again, our kindness has to extend far past dogs and cats, and all animals are deserving of love, care, attention, food, water, shelter, you know, all of just the basic needs and necessities that dogs and cats are granted. So
on the heels of that, you love having visitors here.
We
and there's
do.
a lot of things that you do here at the farm. You are open to the public. So what type of experience will somebody have when they come here? And then you do have special events too.
we do. So I would say probably the two biggest things that I hear people saying when they come to the farm is they can't wait to come back, and they're just astonished at how clean and neat everything is here. And again, it's because I think so many people have this misunderstanding and misinterpretation of pigs. They think that they're just these mindless, nasty animals. And
that roll in mud.
exactly, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Pigs don't have sweat glands, and so when it's hot like it is today, you will see them out rolling in mud and rolling in their baby pools, but that's just because they have to have a way to cool themselves. Our indoor pigs, on the other hand, because they live indoors where it's nice and cool all the time, you don't ever see them get in the mud or get in the baby pool or anything. If they get hot, they just come back in and sit in front of their little fans. So, and people just love being out here with the animals. We say this is the happiest place in Brownsburg because all of the animals that live here, they're just happy. I think that they all know that they're incredibly lucky that they have a second chance at life. And we have made improvements, and we have setups made so that the animals that live here, especially the ones that live here permanently, have a beautiful place to enjoy and live all the days of their natural life.
You know, you couldn't do it by yourself, and you have a team of people, you have volunteers. Talk about the importance of the people that come out and spend the time here.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it all the time, it takes a village to do what we do, because at the end of the day, I am just one person, and if you can imagine being stretched thin between, 300 different individuals that need care. And so our volunteers, we could not be more thankful for them. And all of our volunteers just pour so much of their own time, talent, and dedication into being here with the animals. And the animals love them, they know them, they recognize them, and we are incredibly lucky to have such a wonderful group of volunteers that believe in me and believe in our mission just as much as anybody else does.
Can you take us through a day? So when you lay your head at night and you get a few hours of sleep, you get up very early, what's it like? Because not every day is open to visitors. You have vet days, you have cleaning up days. What's it like here?
Yeah, I would say every day is the same, but at the same time, every day is always very different. You never know when you walk in for the morning if somebody has gotten sick or somebody is injured and you have to take them to the vet. I never know when my phone is going to ring with the next emergency intake request. So just on a regular day, everybody gets fed starting at 8:30, and then we move on to cleanup and waters. And depending on how many volunteers we have here for a morning or an evening shift, we can usually get in and out in about 2 hours, 2.5, just depending on how many people we have out here helping. And we pick up twice a day, every day. We want to make sure that everything stays nice and clean for the animals. Then, like, we have our donkeys, they have to be sprayed with fly spray, they have to have hay every day. So each individual species has different needs. And then, like yesterday, we had a group of volunteers out from Stockyards Bank. One of our volunteers works there, and so they had a community volunteer day, so they chose to come out here and they spread wood chips all throughout the farm in places where it was getting kind of low. On days that we have vet visits, we use several different vets depending on what animal has an appointment that day. Most of the appointments are scheduled, but like I said, we take in a lot of different animals that require emergency medical treatment immediately. So those are the ones that obviously are not planned, and you just have to act accordingly. So
there's a lot.
Yeah, you never know. And then not to mention like feed and supply runs and things like that. So.
And when we met you here today, you had a duckling that you were bringing in because you were rescuing it.
Yes, it never ends.
Yes.
Yeah, rescue is not a 9 to 5 kind of thing. It's literally a 24-hour thing, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter if you're sick, if you don't feel good, well, too bad. You have to go out and take care of everybody.
Take care of everybody.
Yeah, holidays are non-existent. Every day is just another day. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or your birthday. So,
well, as we have about a minute left, and as we end our interview today, somebody that does not know anything about Oinking Acres, how can you sum up this beautiful farm and sanctuary to somebody out there watching? What does it mean to you, and what message can you send to them?
Yeah, well, this is definitely my life's work and my passion, and I just want everybody to know that pigs are, and all farm animals for that matter, again, they are such intelligent creatures. They're very smart, highly emotional animals, and I would hope that by people coming out and visiting us or following us on social media, they can see the love and the care that we provide these animals. And I hope that one day pigs and companion animals like dogs and cats are looked at the same way.
Mm-hmm. A wonderful way to sum it up. Now, who's this?
This is Blair.
This is Blair.
She's one of our adoptable pigs here at Oinking Acres. She's a super sweet girl. She loves belly rubs.
And she's been walking around the whole interview ring here and looking at cords and all that good stuff. A very, very beautiful little girl. Thank you so much, Olivia Head, the founder of Oinking Acres, for inviting us here today to let us pet and love and take some pictures of your beautiful animals.
Absolutely. We appreciate any opportunity to spread awareness about what we do.
Thank you, and we do too. And that wraps up this on-the-road edition of the Paw Report. I'm your host, Kelly Goodwin. Until next time.
Dave's Decorating Center is a proud supporter of the Paw Report on WEIU. Dave's Decorating Center features the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean Carpet. Dave's Decorating Center, authorized Mohawk Color Center in Charleston.
The Paw Report on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, livestock feed, farm equipment, pet supplies, and more. You can find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
At Tender Touch Grooming, we groom dogs of all sizes and breeds tenderly. Our team pampers your furry friend with care, because every pet deserves a tender touch. Appointments are available via text at 217-317-9489.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.